When it comes to working on our personal projects, many times we land into metal fabrication or cutting, and there's different methods of cutting metal other than the grinder. And I'm not referring to the app either. Let's talk about these. And many of us know when it comes to the grinder, it's the go-to. You've got different guards and protection on it. It's easy to use. You got different abrasives on it. But outside of that, there's different cutting methods. And that's going to be from plasma cutters to circular saws. And that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about these two right here. So when it comes to the grinder, you can see the type of grit that's left behind. We all know about it. It's just dust everywhere. Hey, that's messy as can be. When it comes to the plasma cutter, you're actually using an arc that actually blows through with your compressed gas that blows that molten on the ground, and you'll find little spurs and some dust and so forth, but it's not as dusty and messy as the grinder is. But when it comes to the circular saw, and you can get the chop saw with that, and this right here is much different. So it's going to be just like your standard 7 1/4, but designed just for metal. And as this is cutting, it's actually leaving blue chips behind that's nice and cool to touch when you're cutting. And this right here is a nice smooth way that you can follow a straight line. That's what it's designed for. It's a high power circular saw. So when you start looking at the oxygen acetylene, and then you move into, say, a plasma cutter, it's going to be very similar. You're at that control of the wand or the user versus 8 1/4. You can put it on a track and you can follow that, or you got a line or reference to go off of. So when you're using an 8 1/4, you can see that once you've got your line cut and designed, you've got a guide here, forward and reverse, that you can follow that gives you a nice clean cut. So when it comes down to choosing which one's right for you, you've got different options here, and I'll put a link down below in the description for each of these items here. So when you start looking at the plasma cutter, you got different ranges from a 45 amp up to a 65 amp, and that's talking all the way up to almost a 1-inch max cut on that. Now the circular saw, that's one thing that's going to step aside. This right here was one pass through this 4-inch stock right here. So you can see I've got about 1 inch that's left over. So that did a clean cut on this 3/8 4x6 angle here. Didn't follow the line, but that's a clean cut right there. That's 2 passes, one full pass, but that's what it came through, the entry point and running through that. And that right there gives you a clean cut of 3 inches, maybe a few centimeters over that right there, but very nice clean cut with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this to the test again, because we've got a toolbox that we're modifying into a welding cart, and we're going to use the 8 1/4 Evolution here. Now, a couple of key points to notice here. This has a removable tray on it with a discharge on it, so you can actually discharge your chips once it gets full. And you also have a sight glass with that on the side of it, so you can identify when it's time to change that. Now you'll have some heat build up in this right here from the chips dropping into it, but it's not scalding, or it's cool compared to what you just actually went through. Now when it comes to the blades on the 8 1/4, you've got different sizes or thicknesses for your thin metal, thin steel, your steel, aluminum, your thicker steel. So you got options with that on the blades. And this right here, when you start looking at the plasma cutter, you have consumables for the tips here. You just need compressed gas as far as your compressor air. You just need a 110, and you just need a 110. So let's jump right into this Evolution and get some time on it here. So in this project, what we'll be doing is converting this 34-inch mechanics box into a welding cart. So we've got a 1/4-inch plate here that we've got a couple of lines marked on it that we'll cut out. And that way this will bolt to the base of it between the casters and the inserts, nutserts. So this right here will actually extend beyond about 11 inches on each side. One side for the bottles and the other side for the welders here. Then all the consumables, everything will fit on the inside of it. So what we'll be doing is using that 8 1/4 to cut these 2 lines on this 1/4 inch. So you can see someone used a oxygen acetylene tank beforehand, and it's just a nasty jagged cut. So we want to compare that cut to this new cut on the 8 1/4. And just like that, that is one clean cut with the final results of fine, fancy blue chips everywhere that's cool to the touch. And that's coming from the 8 1/4 Evolution circular saw. This thing is a beast. I've used it several times. I've been very pleased with it. But yeah, you open up the little trap door and look at that. Look at that. That is some beaut right there. Now this will be a little bit warm to the touch, but it's not going to scald you. This thing is sweet as can be. So if you want to find more details coming from the Evolution 8 1/4, this thing is a beast, and I'll put a link in the description down below. But you can also get the chop saw, miter saw, just the same. So just you choose, but at the end of the day, it's a matter of what's budget friendly, what your results that you're looking for, as well as your speed. So I'm very pleased with the Evolution, the Yeswelder plasma cutter, and the grinder will always be my friend, not the app. As you can see, the Evolution circular saw performs. And some of that was even cut one-handed holding the camera. So at the end of the day, I am 100% super satisfied with the Evolution 8 1/4. So if you want to find more, check the link down below, guys. You will not be disappointed in this one. And as we all know, that every tool has its place in the toolbox. So when it comes to metalworking, fabrication, hey, these are 3 tools that I commonly grab. But depending on the situation, if I need to be something more versatile, get into tight areas, this right here works great. Hey, if I want to run a guide, or if I want to just hardcore rough things in, the cut series, but also to run plasma tables, that's where this right here comes into play. But then if you want that clean, straight cut, consistent, hey, without the extra, compressed gas or oxygen acetylene, the Evolution is the way to go. So choose which one's right for you, but check the links down below, guys. The sales do change, and you can get different models of each, being the circular saw, miter saw, as well as different amperages when it comes to the plasma cutters. Everybody has one of those. So we're making progress on this, but at the end of the day, look at that cut. That thing is smooth as can be all the way down it. Hey, so this right here is a huge step here. So what we'll do is now we'll need to isolate our holes here, drill them out so we can bolt our catchers on. Then we'll sandwich that plate in between it. And then we'll have the excess hanging off both sides for our gas bottles and our welders here, probably 2 stacks here on the welders. So this is a huge step here. And what we'll need to do is do a little surface prep in between, put some grease or something to keep it from rusting in between it. But all in all, I'm digging it. Stay tuned for more. Follow, like, drop some comments on what you'd recommend at this point.